Welcome back, Outlaws. On this episode, we head out on the trail with Outlaw Angie and Vic Meier from the Vic Meier Show. He's got a really cool channel, so I'll put a link in the description of the video below so you can go check that out also. First, we stop at Tim's Landing, then we head out to the Anza overlook, check out some stuff around there and look at the Yuha badlands. And then after that, there's a really awesome sunset on the ride home. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And as always, thanks for watching. Alright, so we're gonna go out past the Hills Have Eyes and take that route down part of the wash to see Tim.
Alright. I'm gonna follow you.
Okay. The Yuha doesn't need grand introductions or dramatic fanfare. Its charm lies in its quiet resilience and endless mysteries. To see the wonder ignite in another's eyes, this is the true treasure of the desert.
Oh shit, never mind.
The Yuha Badlands, where the desert's vast silence sings a song of its own. For years, these trails have been my sanctuary, a realm of stark beauty and quiet revelations. But what is the worth of such a gift if kept to oneself? The desert, you see, teaches us not only resilience, but also the joy of sharing. We call this Tim's Landing because this is his inland sea. This is Tim's Landing. Looks like a fox was visiting here.
I was gonna say, bird's a little close.
Timmy don't mind. Yeah, I've ridden the e-bike down here a little bit, but this is about the extent riding in the deep sand. I can't really go too much further than this, and my battery drains.
After all these years of just passing by this, I'm so glad that you're showing it to me.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And out there is where Angie has ridden all through there, and
She told me she's gone all the way to Costco from here. Craziness.
yeah, it's a long haul.
Like, how many miles is that on dirt road?
On dirt road, I couldn't tell you. I think it's about 37 miles from our place to.
Angie, that's quite fantastic.
But yeah, there's a lot of different stuff all throughout here. Over here, a lot of neat stuff. Out there, you can almost see it. It's just a pole sticking up on this little mud hill. There's a cross there, and we don't know the history behind that. But, right there on top of the hill, you'll see like a rock on the big hill on the horizon. That's the Anza, or the overlook.
Is that off the highway?
No, that's off road. And then further out.
How far away from 98 are we right now?
See that tower?
Yeah.
That's about where the 98 is.
So this is just a random monument sitting out in the middle of nowhere?
The cross is, yeah. And then the one on top is like one that was made by the state or BLM. That shows like where the Spaniards came through. And then the further out one, that's the Border Patrol outpost.
Well, I mean, like, is there a sign on the highway to steer people off to go see that, or is it just sitting out there without any fanfare?
Yeah. You have to
amazes
get out
me.
here. There's a lot of stuff that's not advertised that you just have to come here to find.
Just stumble upon.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes adventuring.
And then the
fun, right?
geoglyphs are along that edge over there. And so those are, like the Nazca lines, but they're here. People don't realize that we actually have stuff like the Nazca lines here. And thankfully they've fenced them so they're protected so people don't, do this kind of stuff and destroy what was there.
How much of this are we going to see?
Well, we're going to go here to the point next, so the overlook, check that out. And then I was thinking about heading back this way so you could see the cross. And then the sandbar, or the train, and then the sandbar.
Sweet, I'm taking notes.
And then that should give you a pretty good idea, and then other stuff you want to come back and check in detail, then we can do that. Or if you want to research it, I've done videos on all of them, you can just pick and choose, and I try to explain as much as I can around the history of it. What makes this journey even more special is having my friend Vic alongside me. another creator whose passion for storytelling rivals the desert's own artistry. To share these vistas, these moments, with someone who understands the power of capturing and sharing beauty, it fills me with gratitude. Together, not only we explore the Yuha badlands, but amplify its magic for others to see through the lens of our shared creativity. And if you ever need a trail guide, fellow Outlaw Angie, with her unparalleled knowledge of every twist and turn in the Yuha desert trails, coupled with years of seasoned riding experience, could navigate the rugged terrain as if it were etched in her very soul.
I certainly appreciate the history. And I'm sure we probably won't see an ACV on this.
Enough of my rambling. The Yuha badlands speaks louder than any words I could say. So, I'll let the desert take over from here. Sit back, breathe it in, and let the beauty of this place tell its own story. Enjoy the journey, my friends.
I wonder if this was ever accessible, or more easily accessible from the road.
No.
I just love it because, like I said, it reminds me of Burl Smith.
Burl Smith's not far from the road, but it's pretty rough road to get into it. And there's a lot of OHV dirt biker types that go out there.
And then once you get down into the badlands, it's really cool because you get into the center washes and some of the mud hills and things like that.
Yeah, I saw a couple of wash roads that looked really interesting.
Maybe that'll be the next trip.
Yeah.
You're just getting your feet wet now.
You're right if I get my phone over there. This is the sort of thing it's made for.
Yeah. So this is the dude we're working with.
Incredible. I never knew it was here. This is here.
Font's Point is over Borrego. So this is kind of like...
And then your Font's us. Yeah. And Font's Diary, what is... So... Yeah, there's some history I can cover here.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't done that in a while. Yeah, Font's Point was like my grandma's favorite place to go. She had a house in... She kept a trailer here. She kept one over at Butterfield Ranch for a little while until she figured out exactly where she wanted me, and then she bought a house over Borrego Springs. And my parents only recently sold the house. It's like 10 years. But yeah, she would love... We'd always take her out to Font's Point for sunsets. I mean,
it's an awesome place, you know, and not too many people, you know, go there, and it makes it to where it's not totally crowded, and you can still...
Well, yeah, the wash road getting to that is definitely four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
At this point, back when she was still alive, it wasn't nearly as washed. It wasn't nearly as washed out and loose. It was more. Out there is on the way to there is the monument for. Who's the guy who does both? They have the liars, Peg Legs Smith.
Oh, okay.
One of these days I want to go to the liars.
That would be interesting. We want to do Ghost Mountain again.